Welcome to 3 Count Commentaries. There's been a lot of crashing out about this Drew McIntyre CM Punk match from SummerSlam, but probably the most humorous of these crash outs has come from Dave Shearer of PW Insider, who has absolutely lost his mind and started attacking Dave Meltzer on social media and on the website. So we're going to go through what Meltzer actually said, and then we're going to go through Dave Shearer's response, which is worse than what Meltzer actually said. Much worse. So let's get into this.
We had CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. Seth Rollins, a special referee. And Seth was just like, I don't know, man. This was a match 8 months in the making. Probably the hottest match going into the show of anything.
Oh, by far.
And it was all about Seth and his wacky outfit and making.
It wasn't about the outfit, but it was all about Seth. The thing was, it's like they had this big grudge match. They came out and the crowd was way more into this match at the start than any match on the show. Way more. As the match got going, they were not more into this match than several other matches on the show. It was like they lost something, and I think it was the Seth stuff. Seth became the focal point of the match very early. They really, they opened with a big, fried Takayama deal,
Okay, let's pause it right here, because I actually agree that maybe it was too much Seth in the match. I can agree with that. That focusing on Seth Rollins and him yelling at the guys, it was a little too much. He had already done that on Raw. So reestablishing it at SummerSlam probably was a bit much, but it served the story to show the animosity between the characters involved. But I agree, it might have been a little much.
A couple seconds.
I do disagree that it was all about Rollins, though. I do disagree with that.
Then they just didn't really do a lot. It was more just playing to Seth, and the crowd 3 minutes in is chanting.
Wait a minute. He said he didn't do a lot. He's talking about moves, right? They didn't do a lot of moves. There weren't any springboards, no high cross bodies early in the match. CM Punk is 45 years old and has never really been that athletic. Probably not the best idea for him to be trying to do a bunch of moves. But whatever.
My tables, which I thought was really weird, because it's this big grudge match, and shouldn't you be into the match as opposed to just wanting?
Well, the fans always want tables, and Seth was allowing to brawl around ringside, so it's just what the fans are going to do.
That's true. The fans do always want tables in a match that's basically no disqualification. They want to see something crash. I don't agree with that, but that's why I don't think it should have been no disqualification. It just should have been straight up with a little bit of extra, leeway. But whatever. I guess that's pretty much what it was.
Fans love tables nowadays.
Yeah.
The story of the match was that CM Punk just kept getting distracted by this stupid bracelet. It was
that too.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. They did the match, and they go back and forth for a while, and then finally CM Punk is about to he gets the bracelet back from McIntyre.
What was what happened? So he had him in the Anaconda Vice. So he had the match won, but rather than keep the submission hold on, he took the bracelet off and let the hold go.
Yes.
Which was the first time he did something stupid.
So he takes the bracelet off, and they start fighting again. The bracelet falls on the mat, and he goes for the his finish. And all of a sudden, he notices the bracelet is on Seth's wrist, and he's furious. And Seth is like, dude, the bracelet fell on the mat. I was just putting it on my wrist. But Punk is furious. And so he starts arguing over this stupid bracelet. And
all right. So that's pretty much what it was, as Alvarez and Meltzer going back and forth about how the bracelet was stupid and all this kind of stuff, which is fine. Don't have a problem with that, really. It's a matter of opinion. Some people have different tolerances for these kinds of things. Again, I went through this when I did the SummerSlam review. Some people are going to have a different attitude towards it. Some people see it as Bret Hart's jacket. Some people are going to see it as the watch from Pulp Fiction. It's just a matter of differences of opinion. That being said, Dave Shearer absolutely crashed out on Dave Meltzer about this thing. He says, quote, "Here's why they don't get it. They have no heart and don't understand what good, decent people care about. There is nothing either of them will put above winning a fake match, so they can't understand the value of the bracelet and what it means. Dave's wife left him for a reason." That is a low shot. All right, that's low. Hey, don't. That's a low shot right there. That's terrible. That's absolutely terrible. Please never do this. Never do this. I will agree that a lot of people are missing the emotional content of the match, but saying Dave's wife left him for a reason is nuts. That's just crazy. So, but he continues by saying, "The WWE CM Punk hatred is definitely part of their gimmick, no doubt. I don't know what Brian, thank God, but I know Dave well. I totally get why his wife left him. I just don't get why she even married him in the first place. The dude is a freak, no feelings, like a robot." Oh. He's a robot. Oh my God. Robo Meltzer. This is amazing stuff. Truly angry stuff here. So Shearer continues, he says, "It shows he is human," meaning the bracelet about Punk. "It made perfect sense to me. I would put my family over a wrestling match too. Maybe that's why I've been married for 37 years. And Dave's wife left him." Amazing. That's guttural hatred right there. That's visceral dislike in human form right there. I don't know what happened between these two guys, man, but it don't need to happen again. It need to never happen again. So on the PW Insider Q&A, Dave Shearer went after Meltzer, this time more vaguely, far more vaguely, but it was clear it was about Meltzer. So here's the question and the answer. Here's the question first. "On the socials, I have seen a lot of people and some journalists not understand why the bracelet that Drew McIntyre stole meant so much to CM Punk. It was well explained in the story leading up to the match. Why can't people comprehend that?" Okay, it's a solid question. A lot of people think that Dave Shearer makes these questions up himself and that they're all phony and it's all a work. It may well have been, but it's a solid question. Here's Shearer's response. "I think there are a few reasons why. I think in some cases fans have watched horrible booking from Vince McMahon and Tony Khan for so long that they don't pay attention to the stories that are now being told in WWE. They're not following the stories that are being told. In some cases, it's due to the lack of mental acumen to follow anything sophisticated." Okay, sophisticated. "In some cases, it's due to them liking all action all the time. In some cases, it's people who have no ability to care about someone else, and they can't understand why Punk would. In some cases, like the supposed journalists, they have sold out to AEW, so no matter what WWE does, they will find a way to criticize it." Oh, now, this storyline is not necessarily sophisticated. I will say that you don't need to have a 120 IQ to follow this thing. It's simple. Drew McIntyre and Punk have been beefing for months. This thing took up to a next level when CM Punk introduced something that matters to him, which is a fan-made bracelet with Punk, with AJ and Larry's name on it. With Punk cherishes this thing because it feels like his family is with him all the time. Drew McIntyre, recognizing that, decided to take it from him and has been playing keep away with it ever since. So it's not you don't need to have like 120 IQ to follow the story, but you do have to understand that items have emotional connections to people, why people have family heirlooms and things like that. I've gone through this, but there have been a lot of crash outs about this. I've seen the Voices of Wrestling guys crash out about it. I've seen Fightful folks crash out about it. Post-wrestling, not so much. They seem to be a little bit more mellow. But this Dave Shearer thing is probably the craziest of them all because he's talking about this guy being a robot and talking about why his wife left him. And I've never, this is personal. I don't know what's going on between these two guys, but it is absolutely personal. But saying that the man's, he understands why the man's wife left him is nuts. That's crazy. That's crazy. But I will say this. People have criticized Meltzer before for not having really emotional content and not being a person who seemingly gets other human beings. So, because he is, some people believe he's some kind of autistic nerd about wrestling, which it might be to some degrees true. But I've never seen anybody question his humanity and then say he never should have been married, and it's just nuts. I've never seen anything like this before. I feel like I want to defend Meltzer. I feel like I want to defend Meltzer on this, because if you're an adult, sometimes some of these things, you do see them as kind of petty, and you think that the fight is more important than the item. But sometimes it's the difference of perspective, I think, more than anything. And I feel bad because this guy is slandering Meltzer all over the internet, and I'm laughing at it, and I'm thinking to myself, he didn't say anything that was that bad. He didn't say anything that was bad enough that we calling him a robot and saying that, oh, well, I understand why his wife left him. It's not like CM Punk's wedding ring was taken, which it might have been, more important than a fan-made bracelet, which would have taken this thing to the next level and would have meant something. Like when, a wedding ring is perfect, or when, like, Chris Benoit took Kurt Angle's gold medal or something he worked really, really hard for. These things happen in wrestling. And I don't know if they've ever been criticized as much as this, but some people have been okay with, like, the gold medal being taken or other items being taken from people. I think at one point in time, didn't, like, Tatanka's headdress be taken away from him and he had to fight to get it back from, like, Bam Bam Bigelow or something? It's somebody. But these things happen. They pop up every once in a while. And some are better than others. Some hit, some don't. This might be one of those things that just don't hit for them. And that's fine. I don't think going online saying that his wife, you understand why his wife left him, and then beating that drum is sick. I don't think that's necessary. It's kind of bad, bro. But let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to you guys later.